everyone. Welcome to Cottage Conversations. My name is Mary Lou Chambriello, and I sell homes in Indian River County, Florida. I believe that every home has a story, and because of that, that's why we're here today, to have a conversation about these stories. Are you a first-time home buyer? Are you an investor? Are you curious about the market? Are you someone that's been living in your home for a very, very long time and you're thinking about selling this home that carries all your memories? Well, my friends in this podcast are here to help you with real conversation, real advice, and some professional tips, hopefully. So grab a cup of coffee, get a little cozy and comfy, and let's talk about homes, community, and anything in between, because I believe how you live starts with where you live, and real estate is extremely personal. I'd like to introduce my friends. Lynn, I'd like you to talk about yourself a little bit, introduce yourself to everyone, and then John, we'll do you first, because it's about etiquette, so ladies first.
Thank you, Mary Lou. Thank you for inviting me. So I am Lynn Grady, part of the OG team with my cousin Erica Ogilvie, who unfortunately could not be here today. But we are part of the RE/MAX family and been doing real estate for over 15 years. So love what we do. So I'm excited to be here.
Oh, wonderful. And John?
I'm John King. I'm the broker of RE/MAX Crown Realty. I've been in this business for quite some time, a little over 20 years. And second generation broker owner here in Indian River County.
And an exceptional broker, John. You are the rock of our business.
I
and
paid
you are
her to say that, by the way.
No, you did. You did pay me, and not well enough, though.
Yes.
So, but the reality is that you're a great mentor. You do a great job educating us, and you keep us informed. So, I'm going to start by asking you questions. And one of my favorite questions is, what is the funniest encounter you have ever had in real estate? I know we've had a million of them because we could write a book on this stuff. But the funniest encounter that you can think of recently, or that whether it be a listing, an open house. I've had a crier recently at my open house. She couldn't get the house. She started crying, or whatever. So go ahead, Duke. What is yours?
So I'd have to say the funniest is I walked into the wrong house on a listing appointment, which was a little embarrassing for the couple that was there. But since then, I actually have listed and sold their house. So, you never know.
You never know. And John?
Okay, so my funniest story is when we call to get showing instructions, they typically tell us, okay, the home will be, empty. Go ahead, use the lockbox, go in, and we have our window of time. And it's not so funny when they forget that there's a showing and we walk in and there's somebody in the shower.
Yeah, that's interesting. Did you hand them a towel or something?
I hightailed it out of there.
For me, I was going for, I got a referral on a listing, and I was so excited. I get nervous for listings, so I got everything together. I drove over to the house, and I go, and the house is even the driveway was gated, so I couldn't even pull up into the driveway. And I got out of the car, and the next thing I knew, there was this huge bird came running out. It had to be 4 feet tall. It was puffing. It was making all kinds of crazy noises. And I was like terrified. I ran back into my car, and I thought, maybe I'm at the wrong address, So anyway, I was at the right address. I called the owner up, and she said, oh, that's Crash. She's a turkey, and she thinks she's a guard dog. I said, oh, okay, really? And then what happened was she comes out, and she goes, she might peck at you a little bit. And I'm like, okay. But anyway, I got the listing. We sold the house, and Crash luckily moved prior to showings. That would have been interesting if we had to do showings with Crash. And then the other question I have for you is, what do you think about timely communication? We have a lot of agents that really and truly don't respond as quickly as we'd like, don't we? How do you handle that?
Yeah, it's a bit frustrating, honestly. I'm licensed up in Connecticut, like we talked about, and I do think sometimes moving down to Florida, everybody's just enjoying the palm trees and the sunshine, and they don't always return our calls, and it's very frustrating.
I know.
So I think communications.
I go to you when I have a problem.
It's the same thing. I mean, especially in real estate, everything is so time sensitive. And, when you submit an offer or a counter offer and all of that, you really need to, as an industry, we need to be better at following through. If I email an offer to someone, I also call them and text them to make sure that they got it. Things do get lost in cyberland.
Exactly.
And you need to know that, to be looking out for that. And you need to confirm with the other agent, if I receive an offer on one of my listings, we need to go out there and just a simple text or email back, got it, thank you, I'll let you know.
Received.
It
Just a
takes
simple
2
thing like
seconds,
that.
and it really doesn't happen, that often. I was actually stood up yesterday from a lack of communication. I was supposed to allow buyers into a house. I represented the seller, and a couple minutes after they were supposed to be here, I sent a text message, and it was like, oh, well, they didn't get my text. We canceled. And I wasted my time and my seller's time getting the home ready.
I know. I waited 2 hours for somebody on a showing, and I finally called her. I was there. I could do work, but it's annoying when they don't get
It's
back to you.
disappointing, especially for
I
your
know.
seller or your
Our
buyer.
time is so
whoever.
valuable. We really have to work very hard to get our time. And I'm very big on scheduling and being on time. And the other thing is, what are the do's and don'ts that you have either for buyers or sellers when you are showing property? I have one, but go ahead.
I think it's very important for buyers not to talk when they're inside the house. A lot of people don't realize that we can be on camera, and that's something we always say.
Exactly.
So hold it till we get outside.
Exactly. Don't be critical and don't say anything that's going to hurt the transaction.
And even be very cautious outside, because with floodlight cameras and ring cameras, I try to advise all of my buyers that you can. We as buyers agents, we really need to know what you truly think of the homes. If you don't like the home, don't tell us that you love it, because we're going to go show you 5 more just like it.
Right.
Tell us, the best advice you can give us is tell us what I don't like the house, and then tell us what about the house you don't like, so that we can frame our search criteria for you to show you homes that might actually work. But the worst thing a buyer can do when you're in the house is say anything about, do I like it? Do I not like it? Wait until we get out to the car.
Yeah, it makes it hard to negotiate.
Yeah.
Well, I have to hand out a safe word. I had a buyer that every time I took her out, she just gave out too much information. And so her safe word was macaroni. So whenever she heard the word macaroni, she was to shut up. Okay. So that's basically what I do. So I actually had to hand it out recently as well. I don't use safe words too often, but the other one got Crystal Palace. When you hear the word Crystal Palace.
It's a great idea.
Yeah. Well, it works really well. I believe it or not, because even though we were in an HOA that didn't allow dogs. She didn't have a dog. So she started talking about dogs, and she was talking to the president of the association. So we already knew if she liked that apartment, she wasn't going to get it. And I'm like, you have to be quiet. You're not.
They get excited.
Yeah, they get excited,
so
and they give out too much information.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. So I was going to ask you about if your house could talk to you, the very first sale that you had. I'm talking about the very first sale you had long time ago. If it could talk, what would it say to you? I know what mine would say to me. And do you have any idea what you said? You forgot your first sale. I should be so lucky to forget.
That's okay. Yeah, I mean, no, I do have a few. I mean, I think maybe we had a real tough sale. I mean, sometimes when people are moving, there's a lot going on in different situations. So I think what my one house could I think of is that, please, I need someone to love me.
Yeah, And John?
So mine was a challenge, as most first sales are, and not really in a way that anything could have been prevented. But what I had a seller who sold their house, and then we're buying another house, just moving across town. So we did our walkthrough right before closing, literally right before closing. We walked through the house, made sure everything was fine. The seller was out of the country, and the house was all ready for us. We drove immediately from that home to the title company, closed on the house. I was excited. My first sale, it was 2 sales on the same day.
Show off.
And it was a nice one. And I got a phone call from a very irate buyer, my buyer, swearing that while we were at the closing table, somebody came in and swapped out the washer machine with a different one that had rust on it. And there was no convincing that person that did not happen. So if that house could talk, it would have saved me a lot of aggravation.
It would have told you the truth about the washing machine.
Yes.
Well, my very first transaction, it took me 7 months. I was in Delray Beach, and when you worked with the Coldwell Banker in Delray Beach, you had to have a listing or a sale before they'd let you work floor, because floor was really super busy on Atlantic. So what happens is I finally get my sale done, and I worked with an agent called Eileen Cooper. She was just amazing. And she called me up, because back then you faxed in the offer. she called me up and she went, "You're new, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah. How did you know?" She goes, "Maybe it was that ream of paper that came through the fax machine." So anyway, she was really, really wonderful to me, and we remained really good friends all
Oh,
the way through. And I did a lot of transactions with her, but that's what my first transaction was about. She was wonderful, though.
There's nothing wrong with being new, and in our industry, or especially in our office, we're very good at, if we do hire a new agent, we all stand behind them. But we as an industry, we need to be better at really embracing the new agents and just showing them the proper etiquette and everything, and being patient with them because they are trying, and we were all new once.
of
Oh,
course, yeah.
unfortunately, yeah. Yeah. And then, what's the biggest etiquette mistake buyers make, do you think?
I don't know. Buyers sometimes just aren't sure how the process works. So I think, it's really important to educate them how it's going to work, and like how John had said, the timing of the offer. And sometimes they just
Well,
they
that's
need
our job to keep
big
them
guidance.
online.
Yeah.
Keep them
So
online.
So I'm going to look at it more from the
Broker.
buyer, from the buyer's relationship with their buyer's agent. The buyers don't really understand the complexities that go into setting up showing. So if they want to go look at 5 or 6 homes, we have to schedule those.
Especially now.
And sellers, sellers don't want a all day window. They want 30 minutes. You're lucky if you can get an hour window to arrive. So, as agents, we sit down and okay, it takes this much time to drive there. It takes this much time to look at the home, and, this much time to drive to the second home. And we plan these out, we block it out. And then you get that call from the buyer that says, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're running 30 minutes late, or we're running an hour late. Is that okay?" Well, now we have to go reschedule all of that. And that's one thing, but there's also sellers that arrange to have their pets out of the property, and there's other showings on the property. So it's
And a place to go. They're looking for a place
exactly.
to go.
Now they're
Yeah.
driving around or staying in their car, or they're at the coffee shop or somewhere for 2 hours, which should have been 30 minutes. So just be mindful of that whenever you're working with a buyer's agent, that there is a lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes into the scheduling on it. Please be on time.
I think the biggest mistake or the biggest etiquette problem I've had with buyers is that they don't know what's off bounds. I sometimes they'll go into their personal effects, and you have to be on top of them. We're selling a house. We're not selling what's in the dresser. If you want to look inside the closet, that's fine.
Right.
But and you want to look in the cupboards, that's fine as well. But you're not supposed to be, investigating what they have or what they do. Okay, so is it rude to give a low ball offer, John? I'm going to you first on that.
Okay, so here's my my 2 cents on any kind of offers, whether they're low. Sometimes I recommend that we offer well in excess of what the asking price is. So I think it's more critical for the buyer to understand what the home is really worth, and for the seller to understand what the home is really worth. So do I do lowball offers with my clients sometimes? Absolutely, but I'm going to offer with my buyers what the home is actually worth. So if the house is listed for 500,000, but it's only truly worth 450, I'm going to recommend we offer 450. If the house is worth 450 and it's listed at 400 and there's lots of action on it, I might recommend that we offer 450. Go above the asking price. So at the end of the day, it is what the home is actually worth, and that's where your offer should be.
And it's subject to appraisal anyway, so even if you go over it.
If it's financed, it typically is subject to an appraisal, or even if you're a cash offer, you can always put an appraisal contingency on it. Even though an appraisal is not required on a cash transaction, it is a good it's a good tool to use. And I've used it in the past with sellers that thought their home was worth more than what it was, and I had a buyer that really wanted the property. And so we put an offer in at where the seller wanted to be with an appraisal contingency. The appraisal came back in about $25,000 under where our contract
even though it was a cash transaction. Yeah.
and we were able to negotiate that price down closer to appraised value.
Okay, how about for you?
I think it's really important to definitely educate your buyer and seller the value of the home. because it changes in the market.
And now
Perhaps-
especially.
Absolutely. Sometimes when we list the home and if it's been on the market a little bit longer, it's changed.
I know.
But it's important to always say to the buyer, you need to put in an offer that, is going to pique their interest to want to counter.
Exactly.
So-
well, I generally don't go out with buyers because I get lost. I'm always lost. I don't get there on time. And usually if I am showing buyers, I go to see the people that are occupying the home first, because I will get there and they won't be too angry at me if I'm 10 minutes late. But I normally tell my sellers that any offer is a show of interest, unless it's an
Absolutely.
investor. And investors
Yeah.
don't look at it the
Right.
same way.
Right.
And just counter with your final and best,
Of
And
course.
I also call lowball offers suicide by seller. I go into the door and say, I really don't have a desire to be killed, but by law, I have to present this offer. So
Right.
please just counter. So, I don't think it's rude. I think it shows an interest in the property, and that, we just need to work it. What should how should buyers behave at an open house? Now, I just had one where the woman lost the deal, and she had a really, she signed a lot of things. Otherwise, she had great credit if she didn't sign for her daughter's $500,000 home by a $270,000. What do you call those big travel things? Those
RV.
mobile homes,
Yeah.
and a truck. They bought a truck too, and they wanted to put an offer. I connected them with Lucy Cranker because they came to my open house, and they couldn't. They went to 3 other agents, 3 other mortgage people, and the second day of my open house, she came in hysterical, crying while I'm holding an open house.
Oh no.
So I don't
Yeah.
think you should cry at open houses. Is pretty much my story. So that was interesting.
I love open houses.
I like them
Yeah.
too, because
But you can't control the people that come in.
I
You don't
know.
always know. I think they need to be respectful of the seller when they look around, just like you said, to look in their personal items or,
Well, I had people that were attending that open house trying to console this client. I'm like,
isn't that sweet?
I don't know what to do.
Therapy session.
I'm not good with crying.
Aw,
Okay.
give her a hug.
It was
Yeah.
fun. It was really kind of interesting. They were kind of
Yeah.
like, I think you should take her out for coffee. I told the husband, bring her, maybe bring her by the beach. Maybe that'll calm her down.
There you go.
But that was what happened to me. How about for you, John? Anything?
So buyers just need to understand that, sometimes when they go into an open house, you might have the undivided attention of the agent because you're the only one there. Sometimes there's going to be a group of 7 different families that come in at the same time. And as an agent for the seller, conducting that open house, we're taking a responsibility for their home while we're there, and don't, try not to separate and go around and poking through everybody's stuff, and understand that agent, wants to answer your questions and wants to communicate with you. But, there's only one person there, or maybe 2 at the open house, and just give them a little bit of time to be able to get to you and answer all of your questions.
Okay, I've got 2 questions here that I'm thinking about asking. Should buyers share their thoughts in front of the seller?
Absolutely not.
Of course not. That's when macaroni or Crystal Palace comes in handy.
Never.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
You know,
So,
you throw out that safe word right away. And then the other thing is there a local business that you recommend to people that are not from the area?
Well, I'm a foodie like you. You know that.
Yeah.
So, yes, I always recommend people to go eat at Dario's. I love the food at Dario's.
Oh, okay. And John?
So obviously I eat well, as also. So I recommend the original Indian River Seafood Market. It's a yellow building on Old Dixie. A little bit hard to find. There are 2 Indian River Seafood Markets. Make sure you go to the original Indian River Seafood Market. Local family, born and raised here, and it is the best seafood you can ever purchase.
Well, here's where my age comes into play, because I don't recommend restaurants. I recommend pharmacies. I really and truly love Miller's Health Mart. They deliver, and they're really good, and that's what I recommend.
That's
so you can
nice.
tell that I'm much older, and those are the things I worry about. Okay, I'm going to do a little rapid fire here. I'll do it one at a time. Town or country living?
Town.
Okay. Fixer upper or ready Ready to move in, John.
For me personally,
Yeah, for you.
probably a fixer-upper if it was already built, because no matter how move-in ready it is, I'll want to change something anyway.
Yeah, the home is modern or historic.
Oh,
Charm?
modern.
Really,
Yes.
I like historic. Yeah. Pool or theater?
Pool, 100%.
Okay, 100%. Me too, as well. Well or city water?
Definitely city water.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So I'm a house divided here. I actually like well water because it doesn't have as many chemicals in it to drink. But I do like the pressure of the county water when it comes to washing vehicles and boats and whatnot.
Yeah,
And my
that's a big
wife
deal
hates
for
well
you.
water
I know.
and loves city
How many
water.
boats do you have, John?
Not that's a
Not enough.
it's a touchy subject. One too many right now. I have a boat for sale.
Yeah.
I
Perfect.
actually like well water. I really and truly like well water, and I have RO, and I just had to dig a new well. I've had a really nice water year. I think I had $18,000 in unexpected expenses,
Wow.
all connected to water. Where else we are? Okay, spa or gourmet kitchen?
That's tough.
I know.
You know, I love them both.
Maybe we could cook in the bathroom.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't
maybe
know.
that would work. I know.
You know, I'd go gourmet kitchen. But,
Yeah, you would go
I like
gourmet
the spa,
kitchen.
though,
I don't
too.
really care because I don't cook.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Oh, I'm a kitchen guy. I do all the cooking in my house.
Oh no, I don't. If we cooked at my house, it would be a problem. Okay, a truck or SUV?
SUV, I can't see over the truck. Yeah.
Yeah,
My height.
I just, I never rode in a truck till I came up here. I can't even believe I'm saying that, but I never was in a truck.
Well, back to the boats. I have a truck. I really have no choice.
Well, you need the truck to tow the
Okay,
boat.
I need the truck to tow the boat.
beach or pool?
Beach.
Oh, I'm a pool guy. I'm not a
I
big
like
beach
pool
guy.
too. Yeah, and buyers or sellers? I know you like them both.
I love both.
I know you're
Yeah.
crazy.
I am a seller's guy. I always have been. I'm very analytical with numbers, and I just like crunching numbers, developing the right price. It's more of a formula there. Buyers tend to be more emotional, which doesn't always work well with me.
They come
I'm
and
a
cry at
numbers
my
guy.
They come and cry at my open houses. And then, what else can I talk about? Are there any questions that you think I didn't catch? You know that we should be talking about. I know that I don't like it when people come to an open house or we're doing a showing. I think that they should be mindful of pets if the house is occupied. Everybody goes, "Oh, pets love me," blah blah blah. But the reality is that you're a stranger in that house. It's very stressful for the animal, and I don't like people. I warn them, please don't go near the pet because he just might bite you.
As a little word of advice for sellers, please leave during showings, because if you have an agent that is a good negotiator that comes in with their buyers, if I walk in there, the first thing I'm going to do is strike up a conversation with your seller.
Exactly.
And okay, well, where are you guys moving? Just very innocent stuff. But what I'm doing is I'm extracting as much information as I can to find out what the motivation to sell is. And, same thing with buyers. If the buyers are there and I'm talking to the buyers, I'm trying to pull out as much information as possible, because, negotiation is one of the most important skills to have in life in general. From the time you're a little kid, you're negotiating with your parents that you need that ice cream cone or that you need that cookie.
But no is such a strong word, John. Only 2 letters. No works.
I'm very good at the word no. It's one of my favorite words. But, negotiation is such a large part of this business. And some agents will go out there and they price the home under where it really should be. And then they get to post on social media, I sold this house over asking price in 2 hours with 25 offers. Well, what that means to me is that you priced the home incorrectly.
Right.
So, you just make sure that as a buyer or a seller that you're very mindful of what you're saying in front of the opposing party.
No, I don't like when my people are there, and I always ask them to leave. And what do you think about like staging and getting the home ready? Because I know you guys do that.
Huge on that. Yeah. I think it's really important, especially down here. We have that coastal, people want to get their toes in the sand. So I think sometimes to have your house reflect a little bit of that really helps. So that's something we do pay out of pocket to help some of our clients stage their homes.
I'm big on curb appeal.
Yeah,
big on curb appeal.
absolutely. We're going to plant today.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I now do pots, so I can transfer them.
Yeah, but that's what you do.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I just had to stage a house, my antler house. we'll call it my antler house, and I had to bring a lamp. I had to take it from another house. I didn't have a lamp. I had no lamps. I had to bring a lamp, and he didn't own any lamps. And you know, I'm like, do you have any lamps? He goes, no, I use the kitchen light. Okay. So anyway, it was a gentleman that owned it. And trying to think of something else that we probably haven't covered. Can you think of anything, John, that I should be talking about?
So staging homes is very important, and keeping them clean is just as
Huge
important.
on clean.
Somebody said, and I don't know where I picked this up over the years, but somebody came up with a term that said, if I can smell it, I can't sell it. So, you know, pets, cigarette smoke, that kind of stuff. People kind of get immune to what their house smells like. And
Nose blind, that commercial.
Nose blind. There you go. And you know, I just saw something funny the other day, and it kind of triggered. If you go on vacation for an extended period of time and you walk back into your house, you're like, oh, this is what my house really smells like, because you're in it so much
You don't
that
realize.
you don't realize. And I've had sellers, oh, we don't smoke in the house. We don't smoke in the house, as I'm sitting at a table with an ashtray on.
Because you're not a smoker
You
too,
know,
like
and
right.
it's, you know,
Well, it's
so.
it's not
Yeah.
an attractive, it's not a selling feature anymore.
And I track the market a lot, just being the broker, and I see the homes that are selling, and I see the homes that aren't selling. And you know, if you boil it down to just the statistics, the age of the home, you know, the age of the roof, the square footage, the location, there could be $50,000 swings in sales prices. So you look at, okay, why did this one sell for 50 grand over what this other one did? And it all comes down to the staging, the cleanliness, and I call it fit and finish. It's, you know, when you walk in, people either want to love it or they don't want to love it. And in my career, I can't tell you how many times I've walked in and shown a very popular track home model, and the buyers walked in and said, no, I hate it. This is all wrong. I don't like the kitchen. I don't like the living room. It's not big enough. This is just horrible. And then we go look at a few more houses, and later on that same day, we walk into one that is decorated correctly and it's staged. It looks nice. And they're like, oh my God, I love it. This is the perfect layout for me.
Same home.
And I'm like, it's the exact same house as that first one I showed
Yeah.
you.
Didn't have the pet smell,
But
the
it
smoke
didn't have the smell.
There you
It
go.
didn't have, you know,
Yeah.
it had these huge couches in
So
it
true.
that made it look tiny.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
it's
always
very
remind
important.
people that toothpaste is not an accessory.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to see your shampoo. We want everything put away, and you know, not to make it that personal. But I'm big on clean, and I really and truly work to get my properties looking crisp and clean, and working with what I've got.
You certainly go above and beyond with all of your listings.
Well,
you know,
thank you.
and everything that you do for them. For
I
sure.
try. I really. It's so important. It's so. And I think to
Very.
all of us that
Yeah.
it's so important because I love making people money. I love selling houses, but I love the idea that when I walk away that they've made money. And the first question I always ask is, how much do you want to clear? And then I think, well, let me see if I can do that for you.
Right,
you know?
right.
Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't, but you know, it's really a lot of fun. And anything else? Can you think of anything? I know you're the son. Do you have any ideas over there? No? Okay.
So it's, you know, pricing is
Trying to see what, I've got 2 minutes.
pricing is one of the hardest parts of our business, because if you're in a subdivision where all the houses are the same builder,
Yep.
you know, mostly the same age, that makes it relatively simple. But when you get into
And a lot of sales.
when you get into Indian River County, you know, outside of subdivisions, you know, take Vero Beach Highlands, or you take Sebastian Highlands or Vero Lake Estates, or any of those, you know, those communities, you have such a wild difference between build quality, age, and all of that kind of stuff. So hiring the right agent that's really going to boil it down and show you why this is what your home is worth is very critical. I recently had a sale as a referral from a dear friend of mine, and the gentleman that was selling the home said, I want $400,000 for it. That's what it's worth. And so I did all the comps and everything up, and I called him. I said, okay, well, bad news is we're not going to sell it for 400,000. The good news is we're going to sell it for 4.25. And
well, that's a good conversation.
and so he laughed a little bit and was like, I think you're out of your mind, but we listed it, had it under contract within about 2 weeks. and sold it very close to asking price. And
Well,
I had a backup contract on it as well.
Yeah, and I want to thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate your time and your support. You
wanna
have no
thank
idea how
you.
much it means to me. And if for you people out there, if there's something that you'd like us to cover, talk about, please just connect with me on Facebook, and we'll talk about it. We want to keep the conversation rolling. And as we wrap this up, I want to say thank you to everyone, and especially my broker. I'm mad about my broker, and I'm mad about the people that I work with, and I'm mad in a good way.
And
Mad
lots
that
of
I
people-
love you.
lots of people are mad
Yeah,
at
we're
me.
not mad. We're not mad at you in that way.
That's my job.
And I just want to remind everybody to, really enjoy your home and live in your home and be happy, because it's where you build all your memories. Have the meal together, enjoy each other, laugh and sing and do whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing, because that's what we sell.
Be kind. Life is
And
short.
be kind.
Yeah.
My favorite feeling
Yeah.
is driving into my driveway. And
Love what we
Laura
do.
Ingalls said the nicest word ever, the most beautiful word ever is what? Home.
Home.
Yes.
There you go.
So thank you
That's
very
true.
much.
Yeah.
Ciao for now. Have the best day.